I don't know what a best director is, except that someone that stands in the same space with the best actors. I feel that they do the work, and I get to watch. And nothing's better than that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Take 5, the podcast where we take a cinema legend, take 5 of their films, and highlight their excellence and range. My name is Austin Luger.
My name's Eric Martindale.
And we have come to the end of the Robert Altman 5, as we're about to cover his 5th film in our 5. Previously, we have covered MASH, McCabe and Mrs. Miller, Nashville, and Shortcuts. Today, we are ending on his final film from 2006, A Prairie Home Companion. This is based off the insanely long-running radio show, the very quaint, Midwestern charming show created by Garrison Keillor. This is a movie about the last day of A Prairie Home Companion. The radio show is actually still on the air now, so this didn't happen.
Garrison Keillor no longer hosts it as of last year.
Really?
So he quit in 2016, so 10 years after this movie came out. So he did that show for like 40 years.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
And he wrote this movie, and stars in it as himself. As GK.
As GK.
So you have the story where you have, much like other Altman films, you have a large all-star cast where you have Kevin Kline playing Guy Noir, who in the real-life radio show is a fictional character. In this movie, he appears to be an actual relic of noir cinema. And
he's a security guard.
Yeah. And he is hilarious because it's Kevin Kline getting to be hilarious. Mm-hmm. You have Woody Harrelson and John C. Reilly as Dusty and Lefty, cowboy singers who are they're PG bad boys. Mm-hmm. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
You have Meryl Streep and Lily Tomlin as the Johnson sisters, and Lindsay Lohan as Meryl Streep's daughter, Lola, who is there to kind of write about the last day and just, like, tolerate her mom, basically. Mm-hmm. Also, you have Maya Rudolph as the stagehand, and, you also have Virginia Madsen as an angel.
As a dangerous woman.
As dangerous woman. I love that's her name in the credits. So as you...
And Tommy Lee Jones.
As the X-Man.
The X-Man. All right, go ahead.
He's the corporate suit who is shutting down the show.
Bought it out.
Mm-hmm. So you essentially watch a kind of great backstage drama, but unlike other ones, these stories are very popular and many things. Noises Off is the most farcical one, but like this actually is just really pleasant. Even though there is an ending vibe around everything, you get to have lovely people just tell stories in the dressing room and talk about the good times and talk about the silly times and the sad times. You get to have a possibly fictional noir detective follow an angel across the stage. He's suspicious of her.
Yeah.
You have Garrison Keillor refusing to acknowledge the show's ending, which is meta confusing considering he's now written a movie about the show ending and starring in it, and it's just the best. Like I think it's all my pantheon of like the happiest films, and I think all of my like happy comfort films do have a tinge of sadness to it. But like,
yeah, that's the best stuff.
Yeah, this I turned this on, and I just had a stupid happy grin.
Yeah.
From end to end.
It's such a whimsical film. Like it literally rolls out kind of like. It feels like mysticism. Like it feels like some sort of. It feels like a relic of a bygone age, but also it has like a fantasy element to it because you have an angel walking around and people are acknowledging it as such. It's just there's something. Whimsical is the only like adjective I can use to describe the film.
It's such low key whimsy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Totally.
People think of whimsical as like Juno or Pushing Daisies kind of thing, where it's like neon whimsical.
Right, it's slapping you in the face. This all takes place in one night at the Prairie Home Companion, and that's I love stories that can do that and do that effectively and have the passage of time feel very real. I mean, everything in the very beginning of this film leads up to the introduction of the show, which literally has GK in front of the curtain arguing with Maya Rudolph as the curtain comes up, and bam, we got a whole audience in front of us. The way it rolls into that so effortlessly is just filmmaking and an absolute A-plus filmmaking. I'm going to talk in my platitude really fast, then I get to what I think is one of the better lines in the whole Altman 5 that we've watched that is it's from this film. This film will be, of all the films we've covered on the podcast so far, the one where public opinion will differ the most from the way I feel. I think the biggest one so far was in the Billy Wilder 5 for
Ace in the Hole.
Ace in the Hole, where, that's a beloved film, and I don't like the movie. This is not a beloved film by most people, and I don't think all Robert Altman fans would see this film on a 5 and wonder why that one, other than the fact it's his last film. I loved this movie. I thought this movie is fantastic. I think it's, really, really, really good stuff. Garrison Keillor, obviously, he's hosting the Prairie Home Companion, and someone dies who works at the Prairie Home Companion. He's died downstage, and they want him to say some memorial words, and he wants to go out there, and he's refusing to do it. He wants the show to maintain its integrity. He's acting like the show's going to come on again next week. He doesn't want to deliver a eulogy. And they say, why won't you say that? Why won't you give a eulogy? And he goes, because I'm at the point in my life now where if I start doing eulogies, I'll never stop doing them. I loved that line. Then immediately they follow up by saying, "Well, don't you want somebody to remember him?" And he goes, "Or to remember you?" And he says, "I don't want people to be told to remember me." I thought that was fantastic. And Garrison Keillor, the way he delivers that so earnestly and honestly, there's no way he didn't mean that.
Also, you were so excited about the quality of that line.
Yeah.
That it's actually bolder than the way he delivers it.
Yeah, way bolder.
He's looking at his notes or on the ground. Like he's saying I'll take ham for sandwich.
And everything he does is so understated, which is part of why it's so good. He should have been nominated for an Academy Award. Incredible. Absolutely incredible in this film. So that was the big platitudes I wanted to say, and some of the bigger things that I took from the movie. And then, of course, that Kevin Kline should have done more movies. I know he's still alive, but he's going to be 70 now.
He just won a Tony, right?
Did he?
I think this year.
Doesn't surprise me. He's obviously a famous Shakespeare actor, too, on top of everything else. It was interesting getting to see him work in this movie again with Meryl Streep because of Sophie's Choice. So that was cool, too. But, what did you take from it seeing this? Had you seen this movie before? You had...
This movie, I have a fond place in my heart for it because when I was younger, when I lived in Indianapolis, we had the Landmark Theater. And the Landmark is a chain of art house theaters. And, ultimately, if we're going to be snobby about theaters, it isn't a great art house theater. It gets the mainstream art in. But it is a place where you can see films like this. And so for so long, when I was a teenager, I would see what's playing there. And I would beg a parent to drop me off. Or if they were being very generous, see it with me. And then I have to apologize in the car. But this was the first time I had my license and I had a car and I could just go see a movie by a great auteur. And I was like, I get to go see a Robert Altman film. Mm-hmm. And I got lost a little bit on the way to the theater. Got there just in time. I basically sat down and the movie started. And I loved it so much. I had no idea it was going to be the final Robert Altman film. And the whole ending got me. And what's so interesting to me about the movie is that, remember that week I then went to listen to the latest episode of Prairie Home Companion, and I didn't like it. And that's crazy to me, because I love this movie. I watch it all the time. It is written by Garrison Keillor.
Right.
It is doing the show. And yet, I don't know if I need the visual element, or I need the meta element, or maybe I need there to be angels. This works. I'd rather be in the theater than be at Lake Wobegon. And because there's something just so magical they depicted about this theater and about this experience and about the love they all have for each other. That shone through, even though this isn't my style of music. Often in my style of comedy. But I love just the world that it gifts you with.
Well, the world that it gifts you with is just it. We see Altman establish the camaraderie and the theming and setting of the Korea War, but Vietnam and MASH. You see that in a tavern in McCabe and Mrs. Miller. You see that in Nashville. In A Prairie Home Companion, we're seeing the Prairie Home Companion cast have that same sort of thing going on. The way scenes unfold in a tavern in McCabe and Mrs. Miller is the way things are unfolding backstage in A Prairie Home Companion. Robert Altman is the most consistent director we've ever done as far as keeping to that one ideology of filmmaking, that one belief to create these scenes and let these scenes be real. And we've talked about that ad nauseum at this point. But I think it works really well here too, and it hits a soft spot for me too, because coming from a theater background and degree in directing and having been in shows, I know these conversations. I don't know these people. I'm nothing like these people, but I know what it's like to have a stage manager in your ear telling you need to get to the stage, but you're too busy backstage telling you a good story, and you're, yeah, I'll get there. Trust me, I know how my legs work. I'll get there. It's no big deal. Yeah, I know, but the company manager's having an aneurysm. Please get up here. The stage manager's barking at you, which Maya Rudolph is doing in this, which is a great performance by her as well. And I've been there. I've had that conversation right as the curtain rises. Like, I've done that stuff before. So seeing that done and used and the verisimilitude of it is just it touched a note with me that I really enjoy, because I've been there. I can feel that, and I'm sure that I've never been a cowboy, but I did get that. I've been in a tavern before too. So like, it's always relatable things for like everything, and that being McCabe and Mrs. Miller, that kind of applies here. Except for this movie has an angel in it,
which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah,
because I did love to talk about that.
In the room.
But the crosstalk, since it's been seconds since we talked about that, I watched this with my girlfriend, friend of the show, who. It was the scene in the dressing room when the Johnson sisters are telling that great story about the arrest and whatnot, and Lindsay Lohan doesn't know any of this story. She doesn't know a lot about her mom when she was younger and such. And the way Lily Tomlin and Meryl Streep just bounced off each other, you believe them as sisters to the point where Sarah actually said, wow. Like, she was so impressed by the music of telling this story of while getting dressed, basically. And
it's a mastercraft of acting.
You got two of the best ever. Yeah.
Tomlin to do it.
And it's awesome. And Garrison Keillor, this was as a character in this, what's so much fun about their world and about that camaraderie is that he allows and doesn't allow so many things. Like, obviously, when Lindsay Lohan gets to sing near the end because they have an extra 5 minutes, he really kind of wants anyone to have a shot to go up there. I mean, he's not thinking this is the final performance of the show. He's thinking there's a little girl out there who ought to have a shot out there. And it's really, really sweet. And I love it when like she's singing the song very well, but they keep cutting to him watching her in the sidelines, and like one of the producers or whatever, is she singing that right? He's like, well, she's close. She's got a couple of words wrong. But also like when the Johnsons are up there, it also shows history between them. And they go, well, we want to sing this. He goes, well, no, we're going to sing this one, because this is a lovely little ditty.
Yeah.
Like, nope, still my show. We're doing this one.
Well, and also, too, you get to see him, again, adding to the honesty of the story, seeing them improvise. You get to watch that, and that's fun, because it's really interesting, and it's really meta, because it's dramatic irony regarding drama. Mm-hmm. Like, it's goofy. We're an audience member that knows something that the audience members don't know, which I think is kind of cute how that works. And then that's not even considering the audience on the radio, which is the main audience of it all. It is. It's just I can't. I guess the thing that the big overriding thing here is you have all this truth and this honesty and everything coming out, and you're wondering what it all means, which is kind of what I had with Shortcuts, as I was going, like, what's this all leading to? What does this mean? But there's a clock on this movie, and the clock is when this show ends, that's the last time. And what you sort of see unfolding here is this is not just performance to these people. This is their life. It's not just their livelihood. This is their life. Their whole life has been this radio show. and they're looking for someone to find comfort in, but GK is not going to give them and provide them that. And it's kind of just watching that chaos from the top sort of go down to the bottom and how they all bounce off of each other between, also Woody Harrelson and John C. Reilly, who are playing in this film too. I don't know. It just really works. You have this feeling that this is an actual backstage production, but you also have it's the last production of a show that's lasted for 40 years. And the weight of that, and the way that's not always acknowledged, not always being acknowledged, I think it just works. I mean, it just, it, and they know it, but we're not always talking about it. And I think that that's really interesting as well.
Well, I mean, I think quote the song correctly. I think it comes down to the idea that everything dies and that's okay.
Right.
And that's why, I mean, this is such a strange adaptation, because the fact that Guy Noir exists in the world is crazy. Because, he's a fictional character in the show, and now he's a real character in this real version of the show.
And he's out of time, because he's named, first of all, Guy Noir, which is a too on the nose. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's monologuing.
You can't even be mad at it. It's so on the nose. And he's wearing a fedora and a business suit.
As a voiceover.
Right.
Yeah.
He looks like Don Draper.
He's great. And so you have this angel, played by Virginia Madsen, and she is as Guy Noir describes her, as a dangerous woman in a white trench coat. And technically, for plot reasons, she is an angel who kind of guides people when it's their time. And it's technically about the stagehand who dies in the back. Mm-hmm. But that's not really why she's here. She is here to say goodbye to the show. And there is a history that she has with the show, that she was here when she died, but she doesn't have any anger towards the show. She sees the beauty in the show that all of them do, and she just is really proud to have witnessed it, and in a really sweet, celestial, observing way, where she just keeps walking in and off the stage just to be able to be even closer to this very small magic, which also means then you have Guy Noir following her backstage as well, which is delightful. But it's just something very sweet, and you have I think, rather fantastic conversation with, I think, his best acting between her and Garrison Keillor, where not many people can see her. She was there as... It's crazy. There's an angel, and that's just not the plot of the movie.
Yeah, there's an angel in the plot. Everything else feeling so real and grounded, there is an angel walking around.
And it's beautiful, and they talk, and she likes the show. She talks about who she was.
She talks about the day she died, which is where she heard GK on the radio tell a joke about penguins.
Yeah,
and asking one, why are you wearing that, or why aren't you wearing your tuxedo? And then the other penguin replies, "Who says I'm not?"
Yeah,
and she laughed hysterically at that, and she was wondering why that's not that funny. And GK doesn't even have an answer for that, but somewhere in there lies the beauty of Prairie Home Companion, right?
Yeah,
I mean, basically,
it's dumb and sweet and inoffensive.
Exactly.
And also, the whole thing, Garrison Keillor eating an apple between acts. I love that so much.
He gets really... What's so great...
He has to hide behind the apple.
Yeah, well, when he finds out that she's an angel, his acting changes, but in a very, very, again, subtle GK way. There's this kind of fear that,
For me?
Yeah. Are you here for me?
Well, the final shot of the movie...
it's incredible.
Which is really good, and we'll get to that a little bit later, but you have her... walking towards some characters, and the real last action movie is just Guy Noir looking paranoid and points to Lily Tomlin.
Yeah,
it's Garrison Keillor.
And it's for Robert Altman.
Ultimately, it is now.
Yeah, I mean, this
is, I think, one of the greatest swan songs ever, right? Yeah. For cinema, and this is such a beautiful way to go out. He died a couple years later, right?
I don't think it was even that long, because he was so sick while he was working on this film that P.T. Anderson, I believe, was brought in on standby to fill in for him if he couldn't go.
Which is so interesting because, we've now, for 2 episodes, talked about Paul Thomas Anderson's homages to Altman. Mm-hmm. Is this him returning the favor? Paul Thomas Anderson's wife is Maya Rudolph. Mm-hmm. John C. Reilly has been in so many of his films. Mm-hmm. I think this is at least acknowledging that Altman has seen that Kid Paul's work and thought it was pretty good.
No, I think that's absolutely... I think that's absolutely it. Because I think Paul Thomas Anderson had already done Magnolia at this point. So, I think it absolutely is. I think that there is a tie between those two. I mean, obviously, Paul Thomas Anderson loves and is inspired greatly by Robert Altman. It was probably, that's a dream come true for him to be in a situation like that. And then, of course, Maya Rudolph's in the film as well. Mm-hmm. And then, he uses John C. Reilly later. I'm still waiting for Meryl Streep to pop up at eventually at a P.T. Anderson film. That would be nice.
I'm not a Meryl Streep expert, but I have noticed very amusingly that I think she is trying to win less Oscars now, and she just likes singing a lot.
Yeah.
I think this started that trend.
Well, she's got a lovely voice.
She's really good.
Yeah.
It's like this, and then it goes to Mamma Mia, and Ricky and the Flash, and then that stupid one, Florence Jenkins.
You said a couple stupid ones already, but...
Yeah. But this
you did say Mamma Mia.
Yeah, but this one she got an Oscar nomination for, so I think more annoyed by it.
Yeah.
I think she was like, guys.
Well, I think she's been like that for a bit now.
Yeah.
So.
But I think she's too polite to turn down the nomination.
Well, yeah, of course not. She's going to take the Academy Award if they're going to give it to her, but...
I think she just really enjoys music a lot. Into the Woods.
Yeah, Into the Woods. Sometimes I'm not in love with her, just because I feel like she listen, she's one of the greatest actors of all time. I'm not taking that away from her. She has a tendency to overact sometimes, especially if it's a very character-y person. I don't know how she could be subtle with Julia Child, but that was insane. And then I wasn't...
That movie's terrible.
Well, I wasn't in love with her in August Osage County either.
No.
Yeah, it was... Margot Martindale, I think, was better.
I also hate that director, so...
Yeah, well, that could have something to do with it.
I'm weirdly giving a lot of
There
props.
were people that were good in that movie, though. Margot Martindale, Chris Cooper. Chris Cooper's great in everything he's in. But no, Meryl Streep is incredible, and we'll cover her on the 5 at some point.
She is the one we've avoided doing the most.
Yeah, because it's just so obvious.
The number one pick to do for the show. We don't do it too quickly.
Exactly. But I like this quite a bit.
She is so
when she's part of an ensemble too, like with Deer Hunter and everything. I think that's really great too for a big ensemble piece to have Meryl Streep in there working in the confines of this broader Robert Altman idea. Yeah, that's great.
I bought her so much. I really bought her as Lily Tomlin's sister.
Yeah,
those two had insanely good chemistry, and I don't know if the age perfectly works out, but I loved her as. She's literally a mother, but as a maternal figure to Lindsay Lohan, who I think is quite good in this film.
Yeah, I do too. This was before crazy Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, and I think she's very good. I think she's a little bit out of her depth because she's in a Altman film. I do all her scenes with Altman and Meryl Streep.
But that was the point, right?
Yeah,
for her because she's out of her depth at the Prairie Home Companion, right? So
and that worked out so well. It's just sweet. She organically found interest in her mom and aunt in a way that that had it happen for.
So I think Lindsay Lohan was an excellent choice for this actually, and I'm never ever going to say that ever again. But if you want someone to be out of their depth, as you said, and that's literally the point of the character is to be out of their depth, then I think that having her in it is good.
I think we should say a few more things about this, but I think our second last thing should be something very, very silly, and it is the greatest scene in the movie, which is the bad joke song. I love that scene so much. It is a very small thing where the censors guy or the more upstuck producer basically says hey, Dusty, Lefty, don't do any of these really trash songs in the past. Let's end on a good note. And they don't take that note, and they just sing a really funny song where they just trade bad jokes and everyone lands for me. Every single one of those jokes works for me.
Yeah, no, they're great, and they're all bad jokes. I can say that about them. No, it's really good. And John C. Reilly and you see John C. Reilly and Woody Harrelson both playing the guitars and both singing, and they're both excellent at it, and that's great too.
I've been watching a lot of Cheers lately. I was on season 9, and Woody Harrelson has had now like a fascinating career. I mean, True Detective is not the same kind of thing. This is, I think, the only time I've ever seen Woody from Cheers in a movie. And because
I can kind of see that for sure.
He's a bit of an older Woody. Like he is smarter than he looks, but he is still naive. Has slightly less hair, although he doesn't have a lot of hair.
No,
in Cheers.
He doesn't have a lot of hair in Cheers either.
But it's just, damn, they're charming.
Yeah, and I guess you hit the nail on the head there. That this is a really charming movie, a good movie, I think, for Robert Altman to go out on, particularly when the whole movie is about going out on something. Passed away of leukemia, I think, very quickly after this.
Oh.
So I don't know if it was in the cards of like when pre-production started or whatnot, and someone out there could just go to the Wikipedia page and figure that out. But I'm very, very, very satisfied with this being his last film in a way I'm not necessarily with like other great directors. Like, you know, Kurosawa didn't go out on Ron. We all remember. We think that he did. We kind of want to go with that one.
Well, see, but I think it's Dreams, and it's not.
Or Dreams, and I like Dreams quite a bit.
Yeah,
but it's not. And in this case, he has Prairie Home Companion, which is just perfect. I mean, it's just a perfect thing. And I wonder if the audience reaction to this comes from a lot of people that don't even know who Robert Altman even is.
I think just no one saw this.
Yeah,
I mean, it got no Oscar nominations. It got fine reviews. The only one that really praised it was Roger Ebert.
Roger Ebert loved it.
4 stars. And he was also a huge Altman fan
of course.
At the beginning. But basically, it kind of came and went. And those who have like looked for it know the show. I think everyone should see this. It was when I watched it this week. There was upsetting news. Again, I just got to tell everyone get off Twitter, turn off your TVs, just watch this. Like, this is the happiest thing. This is the great anecdote for what's going on right now. So, I love the movie. It's really good. I want to watch it again.
I'm surprised at how much I like this movie. That's 2 big thumbs up for Austin and I. So, that's it.
All right. If you've seen this film, if you are also one of the 10 people, welcome. Please leave a comment at theartofmore.com. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think of the radio show and the movie, if you kind of prefer one or the other. While you're there, you can check out the other podcast, The Immortals. Hit episode 90 this week, where we reviewed something we've done here first. We reviewed City Lights, classic Chaplin film we did not too long ago. Also, we reviewed the TV show The Flintstones, and Pedro's bonus review was Hey Arnold, which actually holds up really well. Also, you can check out the Ad Absurdum episode about Westworld. Let's Take 5 at artmore.com, at the Immortals Pod. Adam Lord, who did the music, is at songsbyalord.com. Or you can find you, Eric.
Constant Diversion's YouTube channel, working on a Chrono Trigger video.
We'll
see how
that game you've told me to play for our entire friendship.
I think you'd like it quite a bit. This guy likes time travel. It's Chrono Trigger.
I only like protagonists with really cool hair, though.
He's got great hair.
Oh, I'm in. All right, so you could join us next Wednesday as we're going to wrap up Robert Altman, talk about the films we covered, the films we didn't, and announce our next 5, and finally give that cliffhangery conclusion to the story we hinted at our Nashville review about what is Eric doing that caused me so much angst.
That's it.
Bye, everyone. I'm Austin.
I'm Eric.
Bye.
And right now, in off that long, dusty, lonesome trail, the old trail hands themselves, Dusty and Lefty.
Thank you very much. Lefty and I are very proud of this. It's a brand new number, and we'd like to send it out to our friends there in Maple Plain and Glenwood and Renville, and of course, our good friends up there on the range. This is for you.
Oh, my God. I'm going to
kill those guys.
The blind man's seeing eye dog pissed on the blind man's shoe. Oh, the blind man said, "Here, Rover, here's a piece of beef for you." His wife said, "Don't reward him.
What are you doing back there?
You can't just let that pass." The blind man said, "I gotta find his mouth so I can kick him in the ass."
Oh,
bad jokes, no, bad jokes, can't get enough of.
Show's on the way out anyway.
Ooh, bad jokes for me. You got one, Dusty?
I got one, Lefty.
Let's hear it.
When God created woman, he gave her not 2 breasts but 3. When the middle one got in the way, God performed surgery. Woman stood before God with the middle breast in hand, said, "What do we do with the useless boob?" And God created man. Bad jokes, Lord, I love them. Bad
great
jokes,
boobs.
can't get enough of them.
Why not? Kids ass. Bring it on, the more the merrier.
Bad jokes for me.
What about boobs? Just singing a song about boobs and poop and who knows what. Hey, why not? Let's just wreck the whole show.